Hello, this is Chris Bertelson with a quick clip from Nevada Learning Series. Here we'll take a look at getting started with the iPad 2. The first thing you do to get started with your iPad is turn it on. After you push the power button and it boots, you see this screen, which is the lock screen. And if you touch your finger at the bottom and move that little slider to the right, you'll unlock the lock screen, and that takes you to the home screen. Now here we see a list of different icons that represent applications or programs on the iPad. They're called apps here for applications, and we can then interact with this by using the touch screen. There's no mouse that comes with the iPad, so everything is laying your hands and your fingers on the screen. And so I'm going to talk about several gestures that you need to know. They're pretty natural. If I touch the screen with my finger and just swipe it to the left, that swiping gesture flips me over to another home screen. Here we have another page full of apps. I touch and swipe to the left again, and I see yet another home page. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you see four icons that have not changed. That's called the dock area, and those are buttons that are always available a single touch away. Between the icons at the top and the dock are some little dots that represent the different home pages I have. Right now I'm on the third of four with that little highlighted dot. If I go over to the fourth with another swipe, you can see it highlights that. You can have up to 11 different home pages, so 11 different dots. If I swipe to the right, I go to the home page to the left, and if I touch the only button on the front of the iPad, the home button, that takes me back to my first home screen in a single click. Now if I want to launch a program, I simply find the program. Let's come over here and launch iBooks. I just single tap on that, and that opens up that program. Now when you're in programs, these same gestures apply. In this case, if I drag my finger to the left, I'll turn the page that way. If I drag my finger to the right with another swipe action, I turn the page that way. Who knew it could be so much fun to swipe? Touch the home button, I go back to the latest home screen. Touch it again, I go back to my main home screen. If I want to launch the Photos app, I simply single tap on Photos, and it takes me into Photos. And here again I can touch and swipe up and down to look at these different albums. We have several dogs listed down there at the bottom. And if I swipe up here, I can single tap on Best Pictures, take a look at some pictures that I have created. And if I tap on one of these pictures, I can open that up. And if I double tap on one of these, tap, that will zoom me in to take a closer look at that picture. A double tap again, and I will back out and zoom out on a picture. So double tap may have different functions depending on what you're doing. Now if I double tap again, I can zoom in on this picture and then touch and swipe to look at different parts of the picture. There's another action I like, a gesture where you'd put two fingers on the screen. Mine are about 3 inches apart, and I'm going to pinch them together, and that will zoom me out. And if I pinch them apart, that will zoom me back in. And if I hold them in that position, this pinch position, and turn my fingers to the left and to the right in a kind of a circle, that will rotate that image left or right. So it's a very natural way to interact with these, but very fun to work with this. And if I pinch again here, I can pinch all those together, put that album back, touch the home button, and it takes me back to the home screen. Now if I swipe to the right from the main home screen, I go to a search page where I can search for things on my iPad, because believe it or not, sometimes it takes a lot of work to find them. And I want to look for Time, specifically Time magazine. And I type in Time, and you can see a list here of the different places it's found Time on my system. I touch on Time right there, and it takes me to my Time magazine, and there we have the royal wedding cover listed. The iPad is smart. It knows up from down. Right now I'm in what's called horizontal position or landscape position. If I rotate my iPad 90 degrees, it rotates the orientation of the screen. Now it's in a vertical position or a portrait position, and you can see the icons are arranged roughly the same way, 4 by 5 instead of 5 by 4 in this case. And the programs may change a little bit depending on their orientation. If we come into the iBooks, here you can see it has a single vertical page that I can turn the page on. And if I rotate it 90 degrees again, into the landscape mode, you can see that we have here 2 pages, but again we have that nice page turning action there. So you've got different orientations of your programs and your icons on the screen. Now if I want to go from reading a book to looking at pictures, I have to touch the home button, come to this view, touch on photos, and take a look at my photos that I have. Let's say I want to go back and take a look at Time Magazine. I touch the home button. I swipe over to where Time Magazine is back here. Tap on the Time app and I can open that up. Now it seems like there should be a better way to switch between these programs. And there is. It's by double clicking on the home button. Click, click. You will open up a special dock down at the bottom called the multitasking dock. And this is a list of all the recent programs that you've been running on your iPad. So now if I want to switch to Time Magazine, I just single tap on Time and it takes me to that magazine. Click, click again on the home button and I see the multitasking dock. I want to take a look at books. I single tap on that. It takes me to the book. Let's say I want to look at photos. Again, click, click to go to the multitasking view, single tap on photos, and it takes me to photos. And with a little practice, I think you'll find it becomes a very natural way to switch back and forth and increase your productivity on your iPad. Now let's look at that multitasking dock again. If I swipe my finger across that to the left, I can see another screen of programs that I have running. So you have a long history of programs that you have available. If I swipe my finger to the right, I get a special control panel that lets me go in and access my music player. I can adjust the volume by touching my finger and sliding that little slider there. I can play or pause or jump from one chapter to the next. There's a brightness control here that I can drag my finger on to adjust the brightness of my iPad. And that button on the left won't start your car. No, if you touch that, that will lock the orientation of your iPad. So now if you're reading and you lay down and you're laying sideways, the book won't flip around to try and be vertical. So it's nice if you're a couch potato and you want to play with the iPad. It's also nice if you're on the International Space Station where there's low gravity and it might not flip. You can lock the orientation with that button right there. So hopefully this has given you a few ideas on some great ways that you can get started in using your iPad. This has been a quick clip from Nevada Learning Series, helping you get the most from your Apple iPad.